Everybody, welcome back to Leosophy. Got 3 more questions. I'm going to jump right in. Question number 1. Why is self-improvement such a common theme among the right, but not the left? Okay, I got 1 question this week. It's another board question because it'll probably take a while. Hang on. Okay, here we go. This is from the book I recommended not too long ago, but I really like this concept. And there's an equation that he points out, very, very simple, almost childishly simple, about how to be happy. And that is happiness equals a genetic set point plus circumstances plus V, which is voluntary action. Now, what does this have to do with the right wing's fixation on self-improvement and the left wing's fixation on being happy just the way you are? Well, the set point is purely genetic. It can be reset by certain circumstances, including antidepressants and cognitive behavioral therapy, at least according to this book, but and even life-changing events. Like as I've mentioned in previous episodes, and this is not from the book, but diagnoses of terminal illnesses tends to reset people's perception of what's good and bad and fair and how they should live their life and so on. So that's something that's difficult to control. And then circumstances are slightly difficult to control because you might be born with a disability, you might be born in a certain socioeconomic bracket or in a certain group of people who are not welcome in the area where you're from, something to that effect. The last one's the most important though, and that is voluntary action. So these are things that people can do that make them happy. Well, what does that have to do with anything? I'm going to pause it so I don't take too long. Okay, so these are the sorts of things that people refer to most often when they're talking about voluntary action, in addition to actual volunteering, which I'll talk a little bit more specifically on here in a minute. But all these things, exercise, money management and acquisition, that is to say, drawing up a budget or spending less and trying to earn more through various means, and then writing, meditation, and reading. These are all the things that you will see most commonly in a self-improvement general or any kind of, quote-unquote right-wing view on self-improvement. And they all have something in common. They're things that we don't want to do. And I mean that. Like, nobody wants to. Even I love writing. It's something I love doing. Meditation feels amazing. Exercise feels great afterwards. None of these are things I want to do, though. What I want to do is turn my phone on and browse social media like a zombie, or play a video game, or watch a film. That's what I want to do. Or just lay around like a worthless waste of space. That's what I want to do. These are all really difficult to start doing. Even if you do them every day, they're difficult to start. Part of you wants to not do them. But then once you start doing them, it feels good. And after you're done doing them, it feels really good. And then when you start looking at the actual consequences of doing them, a healthier body, more money in the bank, more creativity, as well as, maybe a finished work from that creativity, the overwhelming mental resilience that comes from meditation, which I'm not even going to go too deep on just because, again, I've shilled for it so much lately. And then the satisfaction and entertainment of reading, particularly nonfiction, because, then you're actually acquiring knowledge from that. These are all things that nobody wants to start. But once they start, it feels really good. So self-improvement isn't just about being better. It's actually about feeling better. It's about being happy. These are things, all these things that I've listed out are things that will make you happy. Additionally, volunteering is probably one of the best ways. It's something nobody wants to do. Nobody wants to go serve soup at a homeless shelter. Nobody wants to help build a bridge in a third world country. Nobody wants to donate blood. It's not pleasurable, by and large. It's not what the monkey brain wants you to do. The monkey brain wants you to just be a hedonist. And yet, and by the way, I'm mixing this with other other books at this point. This isn't purely, a lot of this is from me and not the book that I referenced. The equation is from the book I referenced. None of these things are things that we just inherently want to do. And yet, it feels really good while we're doing them, and it feels even better after we're doing them. And there's such a really interesting parallel there between that and a leftist view of just be happy in the body you have. Just be happy with the budget you have. In fact, other people should pay for things. You don't need to write. You don't need to meditate. You don't need to read. Just be happy how you are. Sit down, browse social media. Be happy with what you have. We need to normalize that you're a good mother even if you completely neglect and abuse your children. We need to normalize that you're healthy and beautiful even if you're 450 pounds and have diabetic blackouts. We need to normalize the fact that being an undisciplined, miserable heap of nothingness who is constantly fixated on their own self-destruction because they hate their life is a good thing. And there's nothing wrong with it, and you should be happy. That's the other side of the fence's perception of what makes you happy. And it reminds me of this joke, a very, very accurate joke, which is men insult each other, but they don't mean it. Women compliment each other, but they don't mean it. I think there's a fun little parallel there with the whole self-improvement general mentality that we see and the be happy no matter what mentality, because self-improvement pretends to be that it's about discipline and overcoming things, but really it's about being happy at the end of the day. You do things that ultimately make you happy, even though at face value it doesn't seem to be the case. And conversely, this whole be happy no matter what mentality is actually about wallowing in misery. It's actually about being unhappy. And quite often, the people who love to say it the most, that let's normalize this, let's normalize that, they are very unhappy. And they do not want to elevate other people. It's a crab bucket mentality. They want you to wallow around and just browse social media and not do anything with your life because misery loves company. So this whole, be happy who you are, they don't actually want you to be happy. And conversely, this, go to the gym every day, even if it hurts, even if it kills you. They're actually pushing for happiness, not suffering. So there's an interesting parallel there. But that, in my opinion, is why I think self-improvement is so common amongst certain political groups. Because really, they are unhappy with the world, and they're trying to find personal actualization and happiness, which I think is a great way of looking at things. And on the flip side, the other side is also miserable with the world and with themselves, but they want to paint it that they're not. It's really a mass form of denial, in my opinion. And the solution there is let's all be miserable together. It makes me think of grade school. One kid gets in trouble. Tommy was talking too. Why? So they can both be in detention because it feels a little better if somebody else is there. So that's all I got. I'll answer the other 2 questions as well as a third at some point. Like, share, subscribe, keep asking questions. Bye.